Can he get himself back on the podium? It looks like we can go back down and hear from a Ducati representative, but it's Paolo Ciabatti with Simon.
It is, Paolo. Really interested to hear what you think is possible today. We all know how incredible Dovi is in the race, especially when the tyres drop off, but it looks like he's having an extra tough time here at Brno.
Well, I think he has quite a good race pace, so let's see if we can get a good start, and then I'm sure that the tires will drop for everyone, so it's going to be an interesting race to watch, to see who is able to save the tires and come with some grip at the end. So I think obviously we start the worst possible situation and condition, but sometimes we can get a good start here. It's a long straight, so let's see if we can gain some position and do a good race, because obviously we would need that.
Thank you, Paolo. Best of luck.
Yeah, best of luck. He'll be keeping a close eye on this man as well, Jack Miller. Not where he wants to be on the grid. To say that he was fuming at the end of yesterday's qualifying session, Matt, would probably be an understatement.
Yeah, I saw him start his Zoom online media press debrief, and he just said, I've had an absolutely wonderful day, fellas. No hint of sarcasm whatsoever, of course, from Jack Miller. What about Lucio Cecchinello? Of course, LCR Honda had a great performance last time out with Taka Nakagami, a career best in MotoGP, 4th place. The Japanese man's got a lot of work to do, coming from 17. And Cal Crutchlow, a former Brno winner in 2016. Simon Crowfar is with the boss, Lucio Cecchinello.
Lucio, I wanted to hear from you because both of your riders really good in qualifying, but didn't, the grid position doesn't show it because Taka lost his place, you know, by running off track. Carl had a fall. I have a feeling that they both could do better in the race than the grid position. What do you think?
Honestly, I couldn't hear anything, sorry.
A helicopter.
Huh?
Sorry guys, there's a helicopter hovering over us. We all got masks on. Lucio, tell us, what do you think your riders can achieve, even with the grid position they have, you know? Because they look strong.
Well, of course, we are not in the best position of starting, because Cal is 12 and Taka is 17, so it's not really the best position for us. On the other hand, our pace with the used tire wasn't that bad, so we are quite positive for the race. Especially Taka this morning in the warm-up was pretty consistent, and Cal as well, but he had a very old tire, so it was like an end-of-life tire. He preferred to feel the bike how it would be at the end of the race.
Thank you, Lucio. Best of luck.
Yeah, keep an eye on those guys. The LCR riders got some decent pace. Thanks to Lucio Cecchinello. Thanks, Simon, as well. You just saw the moment ago Andrea Dovizioso talking through the game plan. 315 Grand Prix, Andrea Dovizioso, and this could be one of the most important of his careers so far.
Yeah, and has Valentino Rossi been torn about his rear tyre choice? Looks like initially his pick was the soft rear, and it looks like he's made a last-ditch change over to the medium. Tyres are going to be pivotal. They are so often, aren't they, MotoGP? It's going to be fascinating to see the tactics and strategies of the riders. Will somebody try and bolt away at the front, use the best of the early grip and try and manage at the end of the race? Who will hold back and then try and come on strong in the second half of the race? Suzuki, they've got high hopes for Joan Mir going from 9th place and Alex Rins from 11th. We can hear the pre-race thoughts of their team boss, Davide Brivio, who's with Simon.
Davide, please give us your thoughts on what you hope and what you'd be happy with the guys, with your riders today.
I don't know, it's a difficult question to say what you're happy. But yeah, in case of John, yes, I think a good pace, and he has to try to manage for the race, and then I think wait for the last laps. And then for Alex, the biggest question mark is about his physical condition. I hope he can keep going until the end, and also is a good pace. We are in two different tire choice with the two riders, and we will see. I saw that Moto3, Moto2, they didn't recover so much. I mean, position were quite stable from the beginning to the end. Let's see if MotoGP, maybe it's a little bit different.
Thanks, Davide.
Yeah, thanks to Davide Brivio. He makes a good point there, actually. The tyre drop-off in Moto2 race, we won't give away the results, was not quite as severe as we were expecting. So, but this is a different game altogether. This is MotoGP.
Yeah, These motorcycles are churning out 300 horsepower. Juan Casas, a long-serving member, a stalwart of the LCR Honda camp, who's been there right from the get-go, 2006 with Casey Stoner. Of course, they know what it's like to taste success here in Brno. Cal Crutchlow famously in that dramatic race in 2016. Now, it's been a great weekend so far for Petronas Yamaha SRT. Do they have yet another great chance of making it 3 out of 3 in 2020? Will it be Quartararo? Will it be Morbidelli? Well, we can find out who they think's got the best crack at it. Simon Crayford with the team boss Wilco Zienenberg.
Yes, Wilco standing between your two riders, and they're probably the favourites going in. What are you concerned about right now?
Yeah, of course, it's an exciting moment. You know, we are a bit nervous as well at the moment because bottom line, in the beginning of last year, we wanted to win, which we did, but now we are leading the championship. So that gives a little different vibe, of course. And knowing that this is a very difficult track to stay on the bike, because to fulfill your job and to get the maximum out of it, you have to take some risk as well. And so that's why we are a little bit tense.
Best of luck.
You're welcome.
Yeah, best of luck. A bit of added interest here as well, because Franco Morbidelli and Fabio Quartararo, I don't recall too many times where they've actually stood toe-to-toe and scrapped.
Bit of extra spice, mate. We like it, don't we? Yeah, this is going to be a fascinating race. Cannot wait. 21 laps. Can't recall for a long time a race where we've expected the pace to drop off so dramatically and positions to fluctuate so regularly. Let's hope that we're not disappointed, we're not let down, because we are expecting quite a turbulent ride coming up.
Not a bad qualifying yesterday for Tito Rabat. He's in 15th place, just on that 5th row. His teammate, of course, on pole position, so maybe he could have been buoyed by the celebrations going on next door. Here is Johann Zarco. One thing you can be sure of, whilst Johann Zarco's not expecting to be on the podium, if you cast your minds back to when Johann was flying on that Tech 3 Yamaha, he is certainly good value.
A few guys might give him a wide berth as well here today, because remember, he was a bit sluggish off the front row last year, and then he had an incident with Franco Morbidelli, which then led to an incident as well with Joan Mir, both of them on the deck. Now, we've mentioned tyres and how crucial it's going to be in this 21-lap Grand Prix. Let's get the latest from the man in the know, Michelin Motorsport manager Piero Taramasso. Simon.
Piero, I normally don't bother you on the grid about the tyres and that, but it's so much talk about them today and trying to get to the end of the race, managing tyres. What are your concerns? What are you thinking about?
Yes, this morning, like I told you, was the split was 2/3 for the soft and 1/3 for medium. And now on the grid they are half and half. So 50% they pick up the medium because it's more stable, and the drop-off will come a little bit later, around the lap 16, 17, we think. And the other half with the soft. Soft will give you a little bit more grip first 2-3 laps, but it's supposed to drop before around the lap 13, 14. So we have to see who pick up the right strategy. And for the front, everybody's with the hard.
Thank you, Piero, and good luck.
Well, there you have it, 50-50. A complete split on the grid. Which half have got it right?
Can't wait to find out. There is Taka Nakagami, so close to going into Q2. Centimetres in it, wasn't it? And that's why he's marooned down in 17th position. But what a ride. Holding up Honda on a last time out, wasn't he, in Jerez, with Marc Marquez absent. A career best 4th place in the Premier class. Just half a second he was behind Valentino Rossi in the podium battle.
And just next to him on the grid in 18th place, the worst starting position ever in MotoGP for Andrea Dovizioso. A tough day yesterday for Alex Marquez. He starts last, 21st, but not a bad outing last time out in Andalusia. If he's mistake-free, there's some points on offer for Alex Marquez, who loves this circuit of Brno.
Yes, Marc Marquez is absent, Steve, but 2 Repsol Hondas on the back row of the grid.
Five minutes to the race start. The BMW M5 roars away. There's a rather good-looking BMW M2 to be won down in the paddock as well. We walked past on the way into the circuit. That, of course, goes to the best qualifier. And Fabio Quartararo, no surprise, is leading that one. Just quickly, Simon, if we pop down to you before the grid starts here on our screen, you got a quick word with Mario Meregali?
Yeah, just wanted to hear what he thinks about Valentino and Maverick. What do you think? What are your concerns? What do you think they can do?
Yeah, but what we are thinking now is two races in one, because the first part it will be a kind of normal race. The second race will be just to try to manage the rear tire.
Thank you.
Love that description, perfectly put. We've got 2 races in one coming up here. Who is going to
take that?
I can't wait for the tactics to see who's going to try it. Will somebody bolt at the front, go for it, and then try and manage it? Or will we have a Dovizioso style race where the pace is really slow until 3/4 distance, whilst they preserve tyres and they really get the hammer down in those last 5 or 6 laps?
You could just see there the men 1 and 2 in the World Championship. Maverick Vinales keeping an eye on Fabio Quartararo. He starts from the second row. A podium today for Maverick would be a great result, actually. There you can see the tyres, and this is your front row as we get ready for the race here in Czech Republic. Who will win the barroom brawl of Brno? Third on the grid for Franco Morbidelli. Is today the day he finally climbs up onto the podium in the Premier class? Fabio Quartararo could make history with a hat-trick of wins at the start of the season for Yamaha. And what about Johann Zarco? For one day yesterday, he's the flying Frenchman again. But what happens here today? It's time to go racing in MotoGP.
We're all set for the Battle of Brno 2020 in MotoGP. A historic front row with 2 Frenchmen, 1 and 2 for the first time since pole position records began way back in 1973. Johann Zarco leads the way from fellow Frenchman Fabio Quartararo. Morbidelli on the front row. Aleix Espargaro, Maverick Vinales and Pol Espargaro are on row 2. Brad Binder on row 3 with Petrucci and Mir. Then it's Rossi trying to get a 200th Premier Class podium with Rins and Crutchlow on that 4th row. A bit further down, we've got Bradley Smith, Stefan Bradl and Alex Marquez on row 7. Keep an eye on Stefan Bradl from the back of the grid. We believe he is going to try Honda's new whole shot device. But there's the man of the moment, Fabio Quartararo. It's been 40 long years, 1980, Kenny Roberts, the last time a Yamaha rider won the opening 3 Grand Prix of a Premier Class season. The competition will be fierce, the competition will be stiff. It could come from the opposite side of the Petronas Yamaha SRT garage. The warm-up lap is underway.
The warm-up lap on a very warm circuit, 47 degrees temperature on that track surface right now, 21 laps for these guys, and Johann Zarco leads the pack once again. It's been a long time since he's been in this situation. Who would have thought it?
He's not shy and scared to get elbows and knees out when he needs to, is he? The first French 1-2 in the Premier Class qualifying, as we've just mentioned. Yesterday was very much a French flavour about the MotoGP action in MotoGP. What will it be here now in the afternoon's crucial 21-lap race? Some guys, you look at Brad Binder coming from row 3, they've got nothing to lose. Petrucci as well, he'll be hoping to use that Ducati whole shot device from 8th. Joan Mir looking strong in race pace coming from 9th. What about Aleix Espargaro? He's always got traditionally good late race pace on the factory Aprilia as well, equaling his best ever qualifying for the Wily factory in 4th place. And what about this man as well? Incredibly, 24 long years after his first ever victory here in Brno in the 125cc race, that Andalusian Grand Prix 3rd place put Valentino Rossi on 199 MotoGP podiums. Can he be the first man in history to make it a double century of top 3s in the Premier Class?
It would be something, wouldn't it? It was 20 years ago in Jerez when he picked up his first Premier Class podium. Could it be number 200 here today? And can Fabio Quartararo make it a treble? If he starts here and wins, it'll be the first time Yamaha rider has done that the first 3 races of the season since Kenny Roberts in 1980. There are records everywhere.
Everybody's smashing. We've got the new generation in MotoGP with Fabio Quartararo. Here we go, we've just said it, the Battle of Brno. We're all set for it. We're sure you are at home as well. Strap yourselves in, folks. This could be a very bumpy ride for the next 21 laps. It will certainly be a bumpy ride for those men on your screens right now. This Brno circuit, treacherously bumpy over the last 2 or 3 days as Johann Zarco comes to pole position then for the first time since Sepang in 2018. What a shock he sprang yesterday.
Chapter 1, we saw the champion down and out. Chapter 2, we saw Fabio Quartararo, a changing of the guard.
You just saw him there engaging the famed Ducati whole shot device. Will it work from pole?
We begin the 3rd chapter in Czech Republic. Lights out here in MotoGP. What a start from Aleix Espargaro from the second row. Fabio Quartararo's trying to go toe-to-toe already with his teammate Franco Morbidelli. It will be the whole shot for the Frenchman. Aleix Espargaro goes through in third. Quartararo's wide though. Through goes Morbidelli.
It's a Petronas Yamaha SRT1 too early on then here in Brno. It wasn't a launch off the line from pole that Johan Zarco was looking for. He's been swallowed up now as well by Pol Espargaro. Aleix Espargaro on the factory at Aprilia in the top 3 on lap 1.
We go into turn 3, a tight line there in the further back from Danilo Petrucci. And just looking at Jack Miller there, he's made a good start. We'll keep our eyes on Dovi as we go. As Aleix Espargaro now charges up the inside of Fabio Quartararo. Can he hold on though?
Andrea Iannone, of course, led for a few laps to the Phillip Island last year. We're not used to seeing the Aprilia RSG mixing it with the big boys at the front. Valentino Rossi did not get a good launch away. He's 12th, already lost a couple of places from 10th on the grid, the Doctor. Morbidelli then with clear track in front of him, already getting his head down, already nearly half a second clear of Aleix Espargaro.
Well, this is exactly what Morbidelli needed, isn't it? Because he's got fantastic rhythm, fantastic pace, and he's not being challenged so far. There is Valentino Rossi then with Danilo Petrucci just up ahead of him. Nakagami's really getting busy. He's made up a bunch of places. He's already up in the 12th.
Pole didn't work out for Zarco at all. He didn't get the launch with that Ducati hole shot device. He would not have used it very often, would he? Just 3 times. And there he is down in 6th place. Dovizioso's recovered a couple of spots. He's come through sector 2 in 15th. He's now up 3 spots from 18th.
We've not seen this Franco Morbidelli since his World Championship winning year in Moto2. He's 8/10 of a second clear already on this opening lap. There are the 2 Red Bull KTMs. Look at Brad Binder right in the tracks of his teammate Pol Espargaro.
And what about Alex Rins? What a first lap he's had. The Spanish hero still riding battered and bruised after that horrible crash he had in qualifying at the season opener. 11th he started. Rins is up into 7th place. He's already showing his true grit.
We complete lap 1 then. Franco Morbidelli has got a gigantic lead already over Aleix Espargaro on the Aprilia and Quartararo. Here is Johan Zarco then. He started pole, he's 6th at the moment.
Dovizioso crosses the line in 15th place then. He's just behind Miguel Oliveira. Aleix Espargaro's wide into the first corner. No second invitation required for Fabio Quartararo. The Frenchman streaks straight on through. Quartararo second then. He's just over a second behind his teammate Morbidelli.
We were just on board there with Pol Espargaro as he looks to find a way through on his brother Brad Binder. Is he trying to hang it around the outside? He is, of his teammate. Look at the number 33. He almost loses the front end.
Somebody's wide there as
Brad
well.
Binder, what's he doing?
And
that is some move.
Yeah, Binder roughed up Pol Espargaro there a little bit, didn't he, as well, and that's allowed Johan Zarco through as well. In fact, Pol Espargaro is going to lose another place here as well to Alex Rins. So Binder, we know when he gets the gloves off, he's a fighter, he's a scrapper, and that's exactly what he's doing here on lap 2.
Brad Binder might be up into the top 3 in a minute. This rookie, he is some lad. He's got to keep it cool though, the South African. He doesn't want to make another mistake. Friendly fire from him last time, and another bit there on his teammate Pol Espargaro.
Yeah, that was aggressive. Love it. So then, Morbidelli, 1.3 seconds clear of Fabio Quartararo. Aleix Espargaro still hanging on there in the top 3. He's coming under real pressure, though, from Binder, who's dive-bombing him from way back into turn number 10. Has he made it stick? No, he's in a little bit wide. Aleix Espargaro just about squeezes back on through. Great battle this for 3rd.
Here he comes again. Brad Binder up the inside. He retakes 3rd. Yes, 3rd. Rookie.
Brad Binder feels like he's back in Moto3 right now.
Oh, this is
excellent
brilliant to
stuff.
watch.
So Binder up into 3rd place. Zarco's regrouped and got himself back into 5th. Pol Espargaro's quickly retaken that lost place to Alex Rins as well.
Dovizioso's up to 12th. He's just behind Nakagami. The pair of them have made up 6 places so far.
And somebody we have not mentioned at all, Maverick Vinales, started 5th, 8th. Another shocking first lap for Vinales in Brno. He went from 9th to 15th last year.
He's being challenged at the moment by his teammate Valentino Rossi. Further back, it was a howler of a start for Cal Crutchlow. He's down in 19th place, so he's lost 7 places in the opening couple of laps, so something must have happened to him.
Yeah, and I wonder if it was Jack Miller on that red bike that was running wide on that last lap at turn 3, because Miller's down in 16th place.
Here comes Johan Zarco trying to put a move on Aleix Espargaro, who's just finding it a bit tough at the moment. So after that great start from the Aprilia rider, he's now going to be challenged by his brother Pol.
Yeah, unfortunately for Aleix Espargaro, what he's lacking is what he needs most around this horsepower Brno circuit, and that is engine performance. We know that the Aprilias have had their reliability issues, and he's being attacked now by his brother Pol Espargaro. So he's going the wrong way at the moment, is Aleix.
He's going to try and bite back though. Here we go, Pol and Aleix.
It's a family affair in the top 6 here in Brno. There's no brotherly love lost there, is there?
No, they love each other so much, but they don't really care when the visor comes down. Pit Byra looking on. The rookie sensation, Brad Binder, is still third. Pol Espargaro then now up into 5th place.
That's been a pretty poor start, a very average start to this Brno Grand Prix for Joan Mir as well. We had high hopes for him. He's down in 13th place at the moment. Dovizioso's clawed his way up into 12th, but he's 4.6 seconds behind the race leader already.
Brad Binder is something else, isn't he? The amount he's learning already in these opening laps. You're praying that he can keep it all together because he's just showing what he's got here. The future is so bright for that South African.
Can you imagine as well, Steve, if KTM get their first dry podium and it comes from a rookie, it comes from Brad Binder in just his 3rd MotoGP race. The kid's got skills.
Into the last couple of turns then, let's see where the gap is. It looks like it's come down by a 10th or 2. Brad Binder's challenging the World Championship leader here. And look, he's got so much more speed than the Yamaha on the straight. Is Binder going to have a poke at the World Championship leader into turn 1? No.
These two have had a few jousting matches, haven't they, before in Moto2. There's nobody quicker than the man we're looking back to right now, Brad Binder, around this 5.4 kilometre Brno circuit. He's just fighting a 1:57.445. Fastest lap of the race. It was half a second quicker than your race leader Morbidelli.
Further back, no improvements made by the Monster Energy Yamaha riders. Vignales still 8th, Rossi still 9th, and Dovi is still behind his teammate Petrucci in 12th.
They cannot believe it. Pit Byra under that mask has got probably the widest smile in the whole of Eastern Europe right now because their rookie sensation, Brad Binder, how long will he be able to keep this pace? He hasn't got the experience, of course, when the tyres really do degrade and deteriorate in MotoGP. That's what he said yesterday. It's a journey into the unknown. He said, I'm basically just going to get out there, go as fast as I can and then suck it and see.
There's Valentino Rossi. He's got through on Maverick Vignales, so he's now up into 8th. So the news gets worse for the number 12. And Alex Rins, what a job he's doing still in 7th place. He's currently harassing the Aprilia rider Aleix Espargaro in the fight for 6th.
Yeah, where the Ducati GP20s? Nowhere. Best of them, Petrucci down in 11th place. It's down to Johan Zarco to take the fight forward for Ducati, and he's under real pressure here from his former KTM teammate Pol Espargaro. He said he was hoping to battle for the top 5. It was unrealistic to think he was probably going to be fighting for the victory. So at the moment, plan A going to plan for Zarco.
Yeah, Pol's just got to be patient here. He's got the pace to be able to contend for the podium, but it doesn't need to be done immediately. That said, he wants to find a way past Zarco because Ducati's notoriously difficult to pass.
And Binder, having got quickly onto Fabio Quartararo's rear tyre, has not been close enough as yet to strike and show the Frenchman his front wheel. He will try, don't worry. If there's an inch, he'll take a mile.
Pol Espargaro trying to go inside, outside, find any door open, and Joan Mir's gone down with Miguel Oliveira, the 2 rookies from last year. That is a nightmare. Joan Mir, so much hope that he might be able to fight for a podium. Qualifying poorly again, and a poor start has put him in a position he didn't want to be. I don't know what's happened there.
Shocker. Pol Espargaro briefly got up the inside of Johan Zarco, but he's immediately surrendered that place back. So Joan Mir, that's his 2nd DNF in the first 3 Grand Prix. It was actually Iker Lecuona, number 27.
Binder's thinking about having a go here at 2nd for Fabio Quartararo. Just incredible from the rookie.
Well, we keep saying, South African fans, if you're tuning in, you've got a new motorsport hero. You certainly have, in the shape of Brad Binder. This is going to be the incident with Lecuona and Mir.
Oh, it was Lecuona, not Oliveira. Sorry, apologies to Portuguese fans.
Do you know what?
Out there.
Before the race, I saw Iker Lecuona on the grid, and I thought, do you know what? I just hope for his sake he sees the checkered flag, given the almighty roasting he got from Hervé Poncharal, having failed to finish in Jerez last time out. Poncharal now is going to be punching anything within his sight. I mean, Iker Lecuona not doing himself too many favours at the moment. I mean, that's a mistake that's easy to make, but wiping out another rider as well, I would give him quite a big distance when he gets back to that garage.
100% agree. Meanwhile, getting very impatient indeed is that man there, 44, Pol Espargaro. He's going in quite hot, quite wide. He needs to be going away past Johan Zarco. He can't find a way through.
There's a bit of history repeating itself here, wasn't it? How long did Pol Espargaro in Jerez 1 get stuck behind Petrucci, Miller and Dovizioso, of course? And when he's behind those Ducatis in that group, tell you what,
There's the
Zarco's getting
chance
that rear
there,
tyre
though.
line.
There's a chance now. Can he find a way through? No, the gap at the front, by the way, stabilised at about a second as we were on board here with Pol Espargaro. He'll take that wide line now, try and get on the power, get on the slipstream. Can he find a way through on Johan Zarco now, up towards turn 3? And Brad Binder is keeping Fabio Quartararo very honest indeed.
Yeah, Quartararo at the moment has not been able to. Pol Espargaro tries again at turn 3, tried this on the last lap and then couldn't make it stick. As he finally got away through on Johan Zarco, yes, he's hugging that tighter inside line. He just there was no way for Zarco to turn in. That was a smart bit of riding there by Pol Espargaro. Quartararo can't get within a second at the moment of Morbidelli. Morbidelli just comfortably holding that gap around a second, 1.1, as Espargaro thought he was just going to run in a little bit hot at turn 5. The last thing he wants is for Zarco to get back on through.
You can just see, though, you know, with Pol, he's angry at what happened with Brad. He's going to repay the favour.
You know what? He is not going to want to see KTM take an historic first dry race podium. It not be him.
He's making me feel a bit nervous, Pol, at the moment, because he's got quite a wide entry into a few corners as well.
Pol Espargaro, since KTM started in MotoGP 2017, has kind of been their golden boy. They didn't want to lose him to Repsol Honda next year. And if he wasn't the man to take their first dry race podium, that is going to smart. It's going to sting massively.
Valentino Rossi closing in here on both Aleix Espargaro and Alex Rins. So Rossi could potentially see 6th place right now. Don't forget that the doctor will be one of the riders key at the end of the race to keep an eye on in terms of tyre life.
Nothing going for Maverick Vinales at all. Last time around he was half a second slower than Rossi in front of him. He was in the mid 158s, and when you think that Morbidelli was doing a high 157.
Oh, that's really wide from Aleix Espargaro, and Alex Rins here might just try and capitalise on the home straight.
Can't say I'm surprised by this from Vinales, Steve, because he's not looked confident and comfortable right from the get-go here, and that crash early on in FT1 at turn 13 seemed to knock the stuffing out of him early on.
Yeah, it's not really gone right from there, has it? He does come on strong at the end of races, traditionally, Maverick Vinales, but he'd have to come on a lot stronger than this. At the front, still, it's as if he's been leading races all of his life right now. In the early stages, no problem at all for Franco Morbidelli. He's still 1.1 seconds clear. In the background there, you can see that Dovi's made up another place. He's up into 11th.
And what happened as soon as Pol Espargaro forced his way through on Johan Zarco, he got straight into the 57s, Pol Espargaro. So it looked like Zarco was just holding him up a little bit, because Pol Espargaro's got the pace now to really dig into Quartararo and Binder. Straight away, look at that, 57.8. As soon as he was able to dispense of Zarco's threat, he was 3 tenths, almost 3.5 tenths quicker than Binder ahead of him.
So he closes up on his teammate. He won't have liked that little nudge from the rookie teammate of his.
Well, there's nothing more that's going to motivate and incentivise Pol Espargaro right now than seeing another factory KTM ahead of him on a dry race podium in MotoGP.
Further back,
you're not going to be able to dangle a bigger carrot.
No, you're not. No, it's coming, isn't it? Pol Espargaro knows he wants that podium. The front then, still a second lead for Franco Morbidelli. Looking really comfortable and smooth. It's fair to say that Fabio Quartararo looks a lot smoother than he did on the first visit here on Friday. What you've got here are 2 satellite Yamahas, 1 and 2. And the closest factory riders to them are the Red Bull KTM. And look at Brad Binder here. Is he going to have a go up the inside of Fabio Quartararo? No, not quite, as they head into turn 14 and then round onto the start-finish straight once more.
We're looking at 2 massive future stars in MotoGP. Fabio Quartararo and Brad Binder, the South African.
Future stars?
Well, current, yeah, very much in the present. Yeah, Pol Espargaro is closing hand and fist here on that 2 men ahead of him, Quartararo and Binder. He's only half a second adrift now, the South African. Morbidelli again, it's just hovering anything between a second and 1.3 seconds. He's able to just manage that gap pretty comfortably.
Pit Byra will be a bit nervous about what's to come here, because not only is his rookie in third, but Pol Espargaro's closing. There was a bit of friendly fire early on, luckily. It's not resulted in anything to worry about, but in a moment, Pit Byra is going to be looking at his men scuffling it out for a podium place, because Pol is closing. Credit to Johan Zarco. Yep. He is clinging on to this still. on that 2019 Ducati.
Yeah, and he's got nothing to worry about. Alex Rins is over 2.7 seconds back. Alex Rins has finally got through on Aleix Espargaro, so enormous credit yet again goes to Rins, who's still nowhere near 100% fit, and what he's doing on that Suzuki is truly remarkable.
The gap out front is actually getting larger now. Fabio Quartararo's 1.4 seconds behind his teammate Franco Morbidelli, with the two hungry Red Bull KTMs behind.
Well, Binder's played a blinder at the moment, but he's going to have to play something pretty strong as well to keep his teammate Pol Espargaro at bay, because Espargaro is coming, and he's coming fast. He's taking chunks of time out of the two men ahead of him, as we said. He's going to be right on Binder's case very, very shortly.
Here's Alex Rins, outstanding work in sixth. He's got past Aleix Espargaro and he's broken him as well. It's now the turn of Valentino Rossi. Across the line then to complete 8 laps here in Brno.
Yeah, and the lead's as big as it's been, 1.4 seconds now. Morbidelli at 58.4, just a fraction slower with a 58.5 was Quartararo.
I'm starting to think that Binder's got the pace to actually get past Fabio and maybe even pull away.
Quickest man of this group again was Pol Espargaro. Is Binder going to attack now on the brakes into turn number 3?
He is.
You know, he's going for it up the inside of the World Championship leader. He's done it. What a move by Binder. And he's got that inside line. He knows that Quartararo can't turn in on him. Brad Binder in his 3rd MotoGP Grand Prix goes into 2nd place.
Well, Quartararo's worried now. A little look over his shoulder and he sees another Red Bull KTM. He'll be thinking, what's going on here? And Johan Zarco is still in this hunt as well. Brad Binder then up into 2nd. Now, can he break away from Fabio Quartararo? I'm wondering whether Fabio here has just started to run in already to a little bit of problem. He's not been able to run the same pace as Franco Morbidelli all weekend.
Quartararo, the meat in a Red Bull KTM sandwich right now. And Binder looks like already he's able to pull away from the Frenchman behind him, and Quartararo's got bigger problems to worry about as well, because Pol Espargaro and Johan Zarco are all over his rear tyre now as well.
Can you believe where we are and what we're watching right now? I mean, who would have predicted this?
Well, let's be honest, Steve, without the run-off at turn 5 in Jerez 1, without the big mistake at the first corner.
Oh, it's 2 KTMs on the podium right now. Fabio's in trouble. The World Championship leader might have run into a spot of bother here, and all of a sudden, we have got 2 Red Bull KTMs on the podium.
Somebody needs to have a stiff drink and a cold towel ready for pit by, because I think he might be about to pass out.
And you know, wide.
Wide. That's going to be really costly. He's going to lose at least 1 spot to Quartararo. Just about clings on to 4th ahead of Zarco.
He's getting a bit twitchy and impatient again, isn't he, Pol Espargaro? And Johan Zarco now wants to move through on him, and he's going to have a look up into turn 1. He can't quite get there.
And all that hard work he's got to do all over again.
He's wide again. He is wide again.
He's got to keep calm, cool and collected.
Oh, he's gone down! He's gone down! It was just too much to ask. Pit Byra, and the team can't believe it. Was there contact between him and Johan Zarco? He's got his arms up, wondering what's happened.
There was definitely a nudge, I'm not sure what Zarco could do about that, because he would have been so far leaned over on the right-hand side. His defence would probably be, I had no idea that Pol Espargaro was there. But it's a disaster. It's a nightmare for Pol Espargaro.
Was there contact here? Yes. Oh dear. You know what, at that corner, at that speed, I think that Johan Zarco might be in a spot of bother there. Simon, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, guys, I saw it as well. The thing is, it's happened repeatedly like this in different classes. As you said, you can't quite see, you've got to go for the gap, but it sure wasn't Pol's fault.
Thanks, Simon. Absolutely gutted. And now all of their hopes on the podium come to Brad Pitt.
There was a small gap there. You know, Zarco did not deviate from his line that much, did he, to be fair to him?
No, but guys, on the big bikes especially, you have to run out in the middle of the corner to come back to get the run down the next straight. And really, you know, Zarco knows he's got to come back to get a shot out of there.
Well, that's, of course, the same part of the circuit where he got contact with Morbidelli last year. And, of course, who did Johan Zarco walk out on last year? The factory KTM team. I mean, he's done a bit of proper number on those guys, hasn't he, again?
Yeah, not surprisingly, it's under investigation. And meanwhile, at the front, unaware of anything, home and dry, cruising so far, is this man, Franco Morbidelli. All of the hopes now for Red Bull KTM are on the shoulders of their rookie, who is doing An
And here comes Zarco
unbelievable job.
blitzing by Quartararo. Quartararo's having grip problems here, big style. And Zarco through at turn 1 and on the podium now. So it is Morbidelli, Binder and Zarco. If you had that as a top 3 in Brno, well, enjoy your retirement in the Bahamas.
It's like an old Moto2 race.
Quartararo's really suffering, isn't he, with grip here? Really suffering. I can strip Zarco's defence right now. He will just say, I know what you guys are saying, I just didn't see him. I was leaning over to the right. I know exactly what he's going to say.
As it stands, can I just say, by the way, Brad Binder is reeling in Franco Morbidelli.
Oh, this would be unreal.
Given what's just happened, the disaster, I haven't even got words to explain what is going to happen if Brad Binder manages to win this race. Paulo Espargaro, if you're anywhere near him, I'd stay clear of him. He's going to be absolutely fuming.
But, you know, Paulo Espargaro, that all got set up by his mistake at turn 12, didn't it? Or turn 13. He ran really, really wide, lost that place to Quartararo. This is the race start. Perfect start for Franco Morbidelli. Maverick Vinales just started going backwards. Not for the first time we've seen that.
I'd quite like to see the replay of Binder's moment with Paulo Espargaro as well, because Paul might even say that that kind of started things off a bit, because that pumped him back a few places, didn't it? And then unsettled him. But anyway, we're now at this halfway stage of the race, and you do not adjust your TV sets. Franco Morbidelli leads. The rookie Brad Binder is a second behind him. Johan Zarco, who was on pole, is in third, but he's currently under investigation for the contact with Paulo Espargaro. The World Championship leader Fabio Quartararo is in fourth. But funnily enough, despite being off the podium, his championship not really affected. Alex Rins, some hero's effort there in fifth.
Awesome. I mean, Fabio Quartararo is really, really struggling. He's got no tyre underneath him. Last time around, he did a 59.9. He was 1.1 seconds slower than Zarco, 9/10 slower than his teammate Morbidelli.
There is Miguel Oliveira. Now this is looking like a career best for him as well. He's now putting a move on Aleix Espargaro, so...
Yeah, Nakagami likewise on Maverick Vinales, and that means Vinales now down in 10th place. This is a humbling experience for Top Gun.
Yeah, well, this is great from Nakagami again. I mean, just as he was last couple of weeks ago, he was 17th on the grid.
It's going to get worse as well for Vinales because Dovizioso and Miller are closing him down. The Top Gun firing blanks at the moment in Brno.
Extraordinary. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. I mean, it's just so unpredictable, MotoGP, isn't it? There's Andrea Dovizioso then, steadily going about his business.
Steve, in the first sector, Brad Binder's taken 3/10 out of Franco Morbidelli on this lap 12. The gap now is just over half a second.
There must have been a mistake.
It is down again to under half a second.
There must have been a mistake, surely, from Franco Morbidelli.
Well,
or has
Binder's
Franco Morbidelli's has his tyre dropped already?
Do you know what? Binder can just go for this. He can go for broke. Nobody's going to be miffed or angry or cheese off him if he launches it from second, because he's got a win here.
Simon.
Seeing here, guys, is exactly the same as when Brad was behind the other bike in the same team, Fabio. Look at the entry.
Yeah.
They're so much more confident, Brad is, on the front tyre, and Fabio's dropped off quick. Maybe Franco's is coming next.
Binder's about to go ballistic. This is incredible. He's reeling in Franco Morbidelli. They come down to start lap number 13. Will it be an unlucky 13 for Franco Morbidelli, who's coming under real intense, immense pressure here from the South African rookie?
This is just brilliant from Binder, and the thing is, because the KTM is so much stronger under braking, it's almost like if he gets close enough, he's going to make light work of it.
59.2 from Morbidelli, 58.6 from Binder. The lap time's not even close. 6/10 quicker was the number 33. He's got right now on Morbidelli's rear tyre.
Brad Binder turns 25 on Tuesday.
Pretty good early birthday present.
This would be some birthday present. Viewers of South Africa, you are witnessing something more than a bit special here.
Well,
The biggest star you've ever had.
If those South African fans have got any voice left at the end of this Grand Prix, well, good luck. There's going to be a few of them right now booking the Monday off work tomorrow, I think.
He's absolutely all over the tail here of Franco Morbidelli. It's not when, it's if. Can he keep his powder dry though, Brad Binder? There are 9 laps to go in this MotoGP race, and that's a long time around this circuit. But it's coming, and it's coming now. Up the inside he goes. The rookie, Brad Binder, on the Red Bull KTM leads a Grand Prix here in Brno. Let that sink in.
Binder, brilliant in Brno. This is incredible. And straight away, 2 or 3 bike lengths he ekes out on Morbidelli's Yamaha.
I'm speechless. Absolutely speechless. Outstanding.
Well, he's won Grand Prix in Moto3 for Red Bull KTM. He's won a world title for them in Moto3. He's won Grand Prix also. Irresponsible riding in the long lap penalty for Johann Zarco. I know exactly what he's going to say post-race, though. He's got the long lap penalty. That's his victory hopes gone. Is Brad Binder about to go for the full set for Red Bull KTM? Moto3 winner, Moto2 winner, and now a potential MotoGP winner for that camp. Incredible. He's pulling away. Binder's blitzing Morbidelli already.
Extraordinary scenes here in Brno. You are witnessing history. Now, Johann Zarco, long lap penalty.
Is that going to drop him back to Quattararo? Might just about get away with it. He'll see that on the dashboard. So he's going to have to do the long lap penalty.
Down the hill into turn 5 we go.
Do you know what? He might just have enough of a buffer to still do the long lap penalty and come out. Paolo Ciabatti's not happy about it. He was just talking there to IRTA official Rick Crichton. There's a bit more margin.
Here he's going for it.
He's in.
He's got to try and stay behind that line, though. Has he done it? Well, it's close, isn't it? I mean, full marks for his effort. Full marks for his effort.
I'm not being funny, but he was almost having his knee down. The circuit was filthy. I was just about waiting for a massive high side there. I mean, that was ridiculous by Zarco. Dear me. This race is just astonishing.
This is crazy.
If you hear a thud, it's our jaws hitting the floor.
In the background, by the way, Rins is still riding in 5th. Valentino's closing on him. Miguel Oliveira's in 7th. And then it's Aleix, Taka Nakagami and Maverick Vinales.
Do you know what's going to really, really frustrate Johann Zarco is the fact that he was actually coming back to Franco Morbidelli quite quickly.
That's a very angry Pol Espargaro, who's not yet taken his helmet off, storming into the back of the Red Bull KTM garage.
He thought he'd seen the back of Johann Zarco at KTM last year, and then he gets whacked and then out of the race.
Talk about bittersweet for KTM, because, I mean, how's Pol going to feel watching Brad Binder pick up KTM's first win if it stays this way?
Binder has gone. He's gapped Morbidelli already by 1.2 seconds. Morbidelli's got nothing. Now he's hoping that Binder's overcooking those tyres and he's going to have a big drop-off. Look at this in the long lap penalty. Does he stay on the right side? Look, he's got his knee down in the long lap penalty. Watch this part here. Watch how dirty the track is.
That is precision. I mean, he deserves a podium just for that. That's astonishing.
That was absolutely brilliant riding by Johann Zarco.
I mean, the guy is crazy. We've got to say that. He's staying in our hotel, and he's absolutely mad. But what a moment. There's Pol Espargaro. He's shaking his head. He knows what might have been.
Oh, look at that. Biting his lip. Biting his lip.
Well, he knows that he had the speed just like Binder. This could have been a KTM 1-2. Davide Tardozzi.
Ducati clearly are not happy. They are not happy. Because they clearly feel like, I don't tend to disagree, that at that stage of the race, Zarco had a genuine chance of getting Morbidelli for second.
But guys, can I throw in there that, you know, as a rider, you know you have to get by. If you're going to squeeze through while the rider runs out for a moment, you have to get your front wheel back in front of his before he comes back. And he didn't. It's made the move too late.
Simon, can you maybe go down and see what Ducati are complaining about? They're clearly not happy. Davide Tardozzi and Paolo Ciabatti talking for quite a long time now with IRTA official Rick Crichton, just to maybe get a handle on exactly what their gripe is.
Right, okay, further back, this is the situation. The gap at the front has just come down again. Morbidelli's closed in on Brad Binder. There is Johann Zarco. There is Fabio Quartararo, who's now being harassed by the unbelievable Alex Rins.
Astonishing.
Who could be on for 4th place here. Valentino Rossi's also just behind Rins. So Quartararo, as yet, this could get worse for the World Championship leader.
I'm buying a thesaurus before we go to Austria, so I'm running out of words to describe Alex Rins at the moment.
The good news for Quartararo is it's not sort of direct championship rivals at this moment that you would say are going past him, but at this early stage of the World Championship, who is a World Championship rival? I mean, it's hard to say. This has been a monumental race. And here comes Alex Rins, and is he going to go through already? He is. Oh, no, not quite.
Damage limitation mode now clicked in by Fabio Quartararo because he's not had the rear grip really from the start, has he?
This is the lead then for Brad Binder, and it's gone up again, 1.5. 1.5 second lead for Brad Binder.
Third MotoGP race, we remind you, ladies and gentlemen, Brad Binder's currently doing at the moment. And at the moment, he is producing an exhibition befitting a rider who's been in this class for about 10 years.
Well,
not 10 minutes.
Some of the best riders in the world that we've had the pleasure of watching haven't managed to get a victory within 3 races of their MotoGP debut.
And what you've got to say as well, Steve, is that Binder's been sensational. He's been absolutely awesome and phenomenal, but what a job the KTM engineers have done with that RC16. That bike was nowhere near a podium threat in dry conditions last year. They've transformed that motorcycle. What a weapon that is.
Oh, wide there is Fabio Quartararo, and contact between Rins and Fabio. Somehow he manages to hold on, the Frenchman, but not for long, because here he comes again. They're all closing in. They all want a piece of Fabio. Look at Rossi.
Yeah, Rossi's
and Miguel Oliveira.
Rossi's going to get Quartararo as well. You can see Fabio Quartararo's rear tyre's just not hooking up at all. Coming out of that turn 12.
This is the point in the race, Matt, that Franco Morbidelli said yesterday. Now it's entering the unknown. It's from here that they have got no idea of what the drop will be like. It's obviously big for Fabio Quartararo right now. Johan Zarco's pulled away. Can he hold on to third, or once these guys get past Fabio, will they be able to close in on the Frenchman?
Well, if Zarco does keep it together and hang on to the podium, at least we're going to find out his reaction very, very quickly to the controversial Polispargo incident. Rossi trying to find a way through on Rins and Quartararo. Got to say, Quartararo, given the state of his rear tyre, he's doing a really good job keeping Rins and Rossi at bay at the moment.
Here we go, here comes Rins up the inside of Fabio Quartararo. He's made it stick, has he? But here comes Fabio again. He's trying to go side by side. Valentino's waiting in the wings just to try and capitalise on it. He's having a look himself, but no room. Simon.
Guys, I just wanted to say, can you imagine a year ago that we'd be saying a KTM likely 1-2 today, because I believe it as well, that they had a better front end than the opposition, and could last rear tyre wise to the end. Unbelievable.
Well, everything about this season's been unbelievable. I mean, 2 Repsol Hondas at the back of the grid. Johan Zarco on an Avintia Ducati, potentially getting in. Here goes Rossi through on the World Championship leader.
Quartararo's just like a sitting duck right now. Fabio Quartararo's just a passenger on that wide RM1 at the moment. Miguel Oliveira's going to get him as well.
I can tell you one thing. We've only got a few minutes to analyse this at the end, and I'm not sure really where we're going to start. Miguel Oliveira's next. I mean, it could get better for KTM.
You know, Brad Binder said right from the get-go that he was so impressed with the stopping performance, the braking potential of that KTM. And he said as well, what they've done this year, both mechanically and electronically, they've figured out a way to get all their horsepower to the ground. They've never been lacking horsepower, KTM. It's been getting it to the ground. Oliveira, is he going to make light work of Quartararo up Horsepower Hill? No, he isn't. Binder now is over 2.2 seconds clear of Morbidelli. History is about to be made by the South African sensation. Not only is he about to take KTM's first dry MotoGP podium, as Miguel Oliveira does eventually make quite light work of Fabio Quartararo. This is a humbling experience for Fabio Quartararo, a learning experience as well for the World Championship leader. But Brad Binder is poised. He's about, what, 6 or 7 minutes away from being a KTM legend.
Wow, a MotoGP race winner, a KTM legend, a national superstar. There is so much here.
South Africa's last motorsport star was probably Cork Ballington,
yes,
wasn't it? Well, they've got a new one, and he goes by the name of Brad Binder, a name you're going to be hearing quite a lot of, I think, over the next decade and more.
Here is Brad Binder.
Look at that,
on the brink.
59-1. on a tyre that's 17 and a half laps old. Morbidelli can't live with that pace at all.
It gets worse if you're a Maverick Vinales fan, I'm afraid. He's dropped down to 12th place now behind Dovi and Miller.
I mean, this is the key thing for Fabio Quartararo, isn't it? Yes, 6th place for him, but he's not being punished at all by his championship rivals, Dovizioso and Vinales. In fact, he's actually stretching his lead.
The thing is, I mean, if this is just the start for Brad Binder, I mean, is he Fabio's new big worry? Simon?
Yeah, guys, you know I'm an ex-rider. You know the saying, a man's man. You know, that Brad Binder as a rider's rider. I love watching him. I love watching, have done for years, like you guys have. He's truly awesome.
It's absolutely incredible. Thanks for that, Simon. Yeah, I mean, I know that you are, Matt, and I am too. We had the pleasure of commentating on him in 2016 in Moto3 when he came from the back of the grid to win in Jerez, and so many great moments as well. Luckily enough, got to see Brad Binder when he first started in the Super Teams as well. I never expected to see this. He is just he's a charming chap, the most approachable lad you could ever wish to meet as well. And this is just, I mean, completely lost for words, which is a bit of a problem when you're in a commentary box.
I mean, it's a privilege and a pleasure to be watching history being made. That's one of the real beauties of this job. You get to watch moments in history being created, and we're about to see this man do it. Can we get a heart rate monitor on Pit Byra right now, please?
The thing is, the stories just don't end here, do they? The stories don't end here. Zarco, what a story that is. Morbidelli's going to get his maiden podium potentially here. Alex Rins in 4th. He's 6 seconds off with a busted shoulder.
There's been more stories in these 3 MotoGP races than we've had in the last 3 years. It's been incredible. And here is your race leader. Yes, your race leader, Brad Binder. 33 at turn 3. 3 laps away from history. Look at those nervous, anxious faces. There's no fingernails left to chew down in the Red Bull KTM garage. They'll need something stronger than Red Bull tonight to celebrate, that's for sure.
The funny thing is, Brad Binder yesterday said, the only goal today is just to stay clear of the gravel trap.
Well, so far that's been mission accomplished.
Oh, I'm touching wood now.
I
don't want anything to go wrong. I really hope that this goes for him, because it is going to be something astonishing. I mean, the roof is going to come off that KTM garage. At the moment, Johan Zarco, I mean, let's just analyse that as well. If he finishes 3rd, that would be a great story, considering he's had to take a penalty loop. But, believe it or not, he is now under intense pressure with 2 laps to go from Alex Rins and Valentino Rossi. Now, unless Zarco's tyre falls off a cliff, or he makes a mistake, he should be all right, but you just never know here.
You can see Morbidelli, he's rolled out of it. He knows that he's hopefully got a safe 2nd place. He's just on a 2-minute flat lap from Morbidelli. Alex Rins. This will be one of the most gutsy, courageous podiums I've seen for a long time if he pulls it off.
Fastest rider on the circuit right now is Miguel Oliveira on the Tech 3 KTM.
There's time here for Rins, you know. There's massive time. Rins took 6/10 nearly out of Zarco on that previous lap. Johan Zarco's got his hands full here in the shape of Alex Rins. It was Alex Rins last year in these latter laps that saw his grip deteriorate, and he dropped back into the clutches of Jack Miller and lost the podium really late on. Fast forward 12 months, he's trying to snatch the podium late on.
Rather ironically, they're catching Franco Morbidelli as well. There's not enough time, but anything goes here.
You can just see Zarco, he's just got no rear grip. I mean, he's barely getting his knee down, look. Really, really struggling, Johan Zarco, for traction now. Look how quickly Zarco stood that bike up on the fat part of the tyre to try and get some drive grip and traction out of turn number 9. Rins is potentially going to get this. Rins surely will go all in, because he can smell, he can sniff the podium.
Up the hill through turn 11 and 12, the factory Suzuki rider, that would be the podium of his life, but nothing would take the headlines away from what we could be witnessing here as Brad Binder is about to start the final lap. the longest lap of his life, potentially, but who's going to join him on the podium?
It's going to be a long last lap for Johan Zarco as well, because he's clinging on.
Look at Tech Sky being the team. I mean, they've had some rough old time. Ironically, that's Czech man here in the Czech Republic. I mean, he's going to be celebrating something later on.
He is about 5 kilometres away from a truly remarkable achievement in MotoGP history. KTM said when they said they were coming to MotoGP in 2016, within 5 years we will be winning MotoGP races. They've won everything in 2 wheels, off-road, road racing, and now they're about to take a step onto the biggest podium in the sport. Brad Binder, it's all looking so comfortable, so easy.
What a hero Brad Binder has been for KTM, winning the Moto3 World Championship, winning in Moto2.
Guys, I've got to expand on it why, as an ex-rider, I admire him so much. It's not just his skill, it's not just his determination, but every time he goes out on the track, he leaves nothing in the closet. He puts everything out there. And it just goes to show, if you do that, yeah, there's some tyre management in that, but you can win like that. Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable, and the drama doesn't end there. Here's Alex Rins going to poach the podium here from Johan Zarco in the closing stages.
Zarco's got nothing left out of that rear tyre. Can Alex Rins get close enough? Zarco's going to make himself as wide as possible. He's got the horsepower of the Ducati. But this is for the podium. What a podium it would be for Alex Rins. You can just see how tentative Johan Zarco is. He's like he's riding on marbles. That rear tyre's turned to chewing gum for Zarco now.
He's got a couple of chances left, hasn't he? It's going to have to be done, surely, over at turn. Look at the rear grip he's got compared to Zarco.
Is he going to be close enough? Binder peels through the final couple of corners. History being made for the South African. Zarco looks like he might have it covered. We have witnessed a golden moment in Grand Prix history, folks, in Brno.
Brilliant! You beauty! A blazing victory for Binder. A new star is born. Franco Morbidelli takes second and Zarco holds on to third, but you have never seen anything like it in your life. KTM have a new king.
What a ride, what a race, what a performance by the South African Brad Binder. Jubilation and joy yet again for the Sponsorama Racing team, with Johan Zarco on the podium in third place. That's the first time that team has had a podium finish in MotoGP.
Have you ever seen anything like it in your life? 3 Grand Prix into his Premier Class career, and the South African flag is going to be flying at the top of a MotoGP podium.
Well, there's going to be some serious
That's great
parties,
to see, by the way, because those two, there was some strong words exchanged between Miguel Oliveira and Brad Binder 2 weeks ago. Oliveira, by the way, a brilliant 6th.
There's going to be some major parties kicking off tonight in South Africa. What a performance by Brad Binder. He has literally demolished and destroyed the established elite.
Hey guys, I've got Pit Byra with me. Pit, he's getting congratulated by everyone, including Hervé. Big hugs, but I think I'll get the mic in there. Pit, you know that special result that we thought you deserved, spoke about it the last days. Did you expect that special?
To be honest, I'm speechless at the moment. It's so amazing to have it. You knew how much we wanted it, but to have it now on the race on Sunday evening, it's amazing. This team is fantastic, and yeah, we did it.
Big congratulations.
Well, I mean, there's just celebrations everywhere. That Ducati and the Sponsorama team can barely believe their eyes.
Well, they say Red Bull gives you wings. I think it's fair to say most of those boys in KTM right now, they could fly to Austria. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Congratulations, of course, we should not forget Franco Morbidelli has taken his first MotoGP podium finish. He led for such a long time, but he had nothing in response to Brad Binder's searing pace. But good to see Morbidelli second. He was the top Petronas Yamaha SRT man. We haven't said that very often, as Fabio Quartararo faded down to 7th. Look at that, the first rookie to win a race in the Premier Class since Marc Marquez in Austin 2013. We can go back to Simon in pit lane, who I'm sure has got an ecstatic Mike Leitner. Simon.
Mike, he's congratulating Pit. Mike, I had to speak to you as well because I know how much work you put in here on the ground with the riders and engineers. How do you feel?
It's incredible. I can't say nothing. Really. It's unbelievable.
What did you think of Brad then?
One thing is clear, we made a massive step on our package, you see on ball. I'm so sorry for ball. And yeah.
It looked like a 1-2.
It's such a great race, so that's racing, but he will show in the next race in Austria that he will come back, ball also strong, and now we have really a good team.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks to Mike Leitner. It's not sunk in anywhere yet. The first ever South African winner in the Premier class.
Do you know, it's only just over 3 years ago since KTM first raced in MotoGP, Steve, and they were last and second last.
Yeah.
Nowhere. What a performance by those engineers. Fabio Quartararo, he'll have to take this one on the chin. There was no dream repeat of his dominance in the 2 Jerez races.
Right, he's still extended his championship lead. That's the thing.
What a wasted opportunity for Vinales and Dovizioso. Dovizioso 11th. Maverick Vinales crossed the line in 14th place. There's going to be a heck of an inquest goes on that side of the factory Yamaha garage. Vinales was creamed by the other 3 Yamaha riders. Rossi was 5th. Morbidelli was 2nd, of course, as Brad Binder comes into Parc Ferme for the first time in MotoGP, and I think there aren't too many certainties in life, but it certainly won't be his last.
Shrug of the shoulders from Maverick Vinales.
14th, absolutely dismal in the extreme. I mean, it got to about laps 5 or 60 before we even mentioned him.
Drink this in. The celebrations will be extraordinary. There's Checkman congratulating Brad Binder. I cannot believe it. Johan Zarco there. Of course, these two know each other, both part of the IO team when Brad was a world champion in Moto3 and Johan in Moto2. Look at this. I mean, we know these guys well, but there will be some celebrations here. Johnny Eyre, of course, part of the team, celebrated here a few years ago with Danny Pedrosa.
I'll tell you what, we know Johnny pretty well. It's not very often Johnny Eyre can't find the words. He's just in Parc Ferme, shaking his head. He's like, that was incredible.
A happy Valentino Rossi there with 5th as well.
That's a great ride by Rossi to get into 5th place.
But nothing is going to eclipse this.
There's going to be some major headlines all around the world about the pump stamp. Look, there's Johnny Eyre again, just clapping. What else can you do other than doff your cap and give a huge round of applause to a man who made a mockery of the fact that that was his 3rd MotoGP race.
Franco Morbidelli finally finds the podium in MotoGP. That may well just be the lift he needs now to take him further.
Isn't it funny, Steve, how life works? You know, that team, Brad Binder's team, was Johan Zarco's ex-crew. They had such little to celebrate last year, such few highlights, yet there they are with their new man in Parc Ferme with their old man. Funny old game, isn't it?
It's funny, isn't it? It
Brilliant.
is so strange.
So chuffed as well for Franco Morbidelli. It was not the victory that he wanted, but it is his first podium. Thumbs up, yeah, great job by Franco Morbidelli. Sometimes you just have to say, I was beaten by the better man, and the better man was Brad.
What this shows, of course, is that the Moto2 class works. You've got 3 men in Parc Ferme there who knew how to do it in that intermediate class. What a ride by Taka Nakagami as well, from 17th up to 8th. No, Honda and Ducati have dominated recent years here in Brno. Nakagami's the highest finisher from Honda or Ducati in 8th place.
Yeah, the top Honda man again. Binder and Zarco have a little post-race natter to each other. It was so eventful, wasn't it, for Johan Zarco? There's going to be the controversial incident with Pol Espargaro to be debated and discussed long into the night after they came together at turn 1, but take nothing away, the headlines, and justifiably so, will be taken by just one man. Brad Binder. Not a bad way to kick off your birthday week. As Steve said, he's 25 next week. What a performance that was.
Well, if you had odds on this podium, enjoy your trip to the Bahamas.
Precisely.
The pace, that's the other thing, the pace from Binder all the way through.
Well, he did a 59.8 on the last lap when he was 5 seconds clear of everybody else. You know, he could have backed right out of it if he wanted to. Miguel Oliveira, good job that, good job, excellent ride, 6th place for him. He had a lot of work to do coming from down in 13th position, didn't he, the Portuguese rider, so that's an outstanding job by Miguel Oliveira. That, of course, is a MotoGP best for him. First top 6. You have to give credit as well to Zarco, because he did brilliantly to hang on to that third place. Here he is. What an eventful Brno Grand Prix it was for the Frenchman. Pole to the podium. He's with Simon in Park Fair, mate.
Johan, pole position yesterday, and you said you'd be happy with top 5. How does podium feel?
Even better than the top 5. I missed the start and I have to work on it because sometimes I have good starts, sometimes not. And this time I could not go pretty well. Then I was feeling quite okay into the corner and ready to fight. But some riders overtook me, then it was not easy to overtake them again. But I was feeling that Morbidelli was going away and I could have the pace to follow him. But then the top 3 get a little gap. Paul overtook me. And he was also fast, but doing few mistakes. I tried to come in the first corner because he went wide. So I was in, keeping the line, and when we touched, I did not expect. I think he crashed. So I got then a few laps after the long lap, and I've been surprised when I did the long lap. I expect to have maybe 3 riders overtaking me. No one overtook me, and then in that moment I said, okay, that can be good. Try to catch Morbidelli. But it was difficult, and the last 3 laps the tire totally dropped, and Rins was, I know he's fast always at the end of the race, and I saw 1 second, 0.5, and then on the last lap I was hearing him, so I really tried to close the door and it worked well. So thank you Ducati, thank you the team. I'm so happy to offer them the podium, and let's see in Spielberg what we can do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great job as always, chapter and verse from Johan Zarco. Always great to hear from him. Yeah, this time last year we thought his MotoGP career was coming to an abrupt end. This is going to be a moment talked about for quite some time. He just gave his version of events. Pol Espargaro is going to be raging. A raging Red Bull man, that's for sure. That cost Zarco a trip through the long lap penalty lane. He said he was surprised that 3 guys didn't come underneath him. I'm surprised he didn't launch himself to the moon, the speed he was carrying in that long lap. What I expected he was going to say, Steve. Held his line, couldn't really see Pol Espargaro. That man is going to be devastated. And of course, kicking him while he's down is the fact that Brad Binder has taken the history that and created the history that Pol Espargaro so desperately wanted to write himself.
It's a massive statement from Johan Zarco as well, when Ducati is still yet to pick their riders for 2021.
Has Andrea Dovizioso asked for his GP19 back yet? Franco Morbidelli's first ever MotoGP podium, though. Congratulations to him. Second behind Brad Binder. He's with Simon in Park Fair, mate.
Franco, right from the start, it looked like you put the race together perfectly, but maybe some tyre drop off a little bit too much. But how does your first podium feel?
It feels amazing. I'm overwhelmed right now, and I'm just enjoying the moment. And yeah, it was a nice race overall. I started well, and I did what was in my plan, which it was just make my rhythm and don't try to overcook the tire and don't push too much on it, you know, because it was a crucial point this weekend. And I saw that Brad was catching up, but I said, okay, I won't do anything silly, and I will just try to bring the bike to the end and catch my first podium. I have to say thank you to the team. I have to say thanks to all the people that are working with me at home. And now we rest 3 days, and we go in Austria with a great power and a great joy. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
Great job all weekend. He's had the pace and the consistency to be the top Yamaha man right from the start here in Brno, and he's finished the top Yamaha man in the race. Beaten by this sensational Brad Binder. First MotoGP podium. Fantastic job that by Franco Morbidelli. Probably thought he should have had that first podium in Andalusia a couple of weeks ago before he had that mechanical problem, but we're about to hear the first words of South Africa's new motorsport hero, already now a KTM icon and a KTM legend. Here's the boss coming to congratulate Franco Morbidelli. So much work they've done together to put Franco Morbidelli on a MotoGP podium, but I cannot wait to hear Brad Binder talk us through his first ever MotoGP victory. Great job that by Morbidelli. he said then he backed off and settled for second place. Here is then a history-making South African Brad Binder, KTM's first ever MotoGP winner. He's in Parc Fermé with Simon.
Brad, the whole GP paddock know how good you are, but you still stunned us. You stunned the motorcycle world. How does it feel to win MotoGP?
Honestly, right now I'm lost for words. This is a day I've dreamt about since I was a little boy, and gosh, today it came true. So it's amazing to win my first Grand Prix. I really wish my parents were here because they're the ones that backed me from the beginning. And thank you to everybody that supported me to get here. It's a dream come true, and I can't thank my team enough. They put an absolutely insane motorbike underneath me this weekend. I had no idea we were capable of winning, but I had a feeling it could be good. And hats off to my guys, they did the most unbelievable job. And thank you to everyone at home for always supporting me. And I hope this is the start to many more.
Congratulations.
I'm sure it will be, thanks to Brad Binder, thanks to Simon. It's not sunk in yet. You can see that clearly. It might just sink in a little when he gets on the podium in a moment and he hears the national anthem. Quite incredible journey, incredible story. He's dreamt of since he was a little boy.
Little bit disappointed. He didn't say he was totally stoked.
Yeah, it's normally the line, isn't it? Well, forgive
He's let us
him.
down.
Look at Pit Byra there. He cannot believe it. The dream is finally realised for the Austrian manufacturer. What a way to head back home in a few days.
This is just their 4th season in MotoGP. We can't emphasise the technical competition in MotoGP is the toughest it has ever been. Yet 4 years in, KTM, look at that. I'm so chuffed for so many guys in that Red Bull KTM garage who really went through the middle last year working with Johan Zarco, and it didn't work out. We all know the history of that one, but history made by that man today, Brad Binder. There's going to be some raucous celebrations going on in KTM, that's for sure. All the hard work, all the sacrifice. They told us, Stefan Piera, their CEO, he's not shy about making bold predictions, as Piera said, don't worry, we will crack MotoGP one day. We cracked Moto3, we cracked Moto2, we did pretty well in 125 and 250s. We're absolutely phenomenal in all the off-road disciplines. We will get it right in MotoGP. True to his word. You are not going to find a smile bigger than that young man's anywhere on planet Earth right now.
Podium full of maidens, a maiden podium for the Sponsorama team.
Do you know what? Look at that. A factory KTM, a year-old or not the latest spec Yamaha, and a hand-me-down Ducati on the podium.
It's a funny old world.
Do you know what? MotoGP 2020, we've had to wait a long time for it because of the global pandemic, but when it has finally started, boy, has it not disappointed.
Congratulations there to the race winner from Dorna CEO Carmelo Espeleta, as the riders just get their instructions from our Australian colleague there, Leah.
And it shows, doesn't it, just how important the Red Bull Rookies MotoGP Cup system has been, bringing through young talents.
100%. Both of those guys knew how to rock it in the Red Bull Rookies.
What a podium. Binder, Morbidelli, Zarco.
Didn't Zarco once write a song about Brad Binder? Played
well,
it on the piano.
They are really good mates, aren't they? Because they used to ride together in the IO Motorsport team. So they were world champions alongside each other, weren't they, in 2016 in Moto2 and Moto3. We were staying in the same hotel in Valencia that year, and I think it's fair to say the celebrations were getting a little bit out of hand. Zarco backflipping off tables in his tuxedo. Great job by Johan Zarco. There's going to be split opinion about the incident with Pol Espargaro. I'm sure it's already lighting up social media right now with people that are expressing their views on it, but take nothing away from Zarco. He did finish in a brilliant 3rd place. What a day as well for a Sponsorama Racing Ducati. What a weekend for them. Franco Morbidelli then comes to the podium for the first time in MotoGP. Good to see him up there, but here is a new star of MotoGP. What an exciting crop of youngsters we have emerging. Fabio Quartararo, the World Championship leader. Now Brad Binder, the first ever South African to win in the Premier class. Mike Leitner, who's done so much work behind the scenes, of course, with technical director Sebastian Rees, working in tandem with Stefan Pierre and Pit Byra. That's going to taste so sweet. And of course we should also mention Danny Pedrosa, who behind the scenes has done so much great work for KTM. Third place trophy then to Johan Zarco. That's his first podium since Sepang 2018, the 48th of his Grand Prix career, nearing the half century. 7th in MotoGP for the 30-year-old. First World Championship podium in MotoGP for Franco Morbidelli. CEO Brno Circuit, Ivana Ulmanova hands over the trophy. Franco Morbidelli's first podium since Valencia 2017 in his Moto2 days. But here we go. Carol Abraham Sr., president of the supervisory board of Brno Circuit, makes a historic presentation to Brad Binder, the first South African to win in MotoGP. Binder truly brilliant in Brno. We'll hear the South African national anthem for the first time in MotoGP.
The South African national anthem plays out for Brad Binder, a race winner in MotoGP. Franco Morbidelli's not even spraying it straight down the throat.
Fair play to Frankie.
This is my first podium and I'm making the most of the bubbly.
Yeah, Binder made that look ludicrously easy. That was the scary thing. Yeah, this is a guy who he himself said, I don't really know what to expect in the second half of the race because I've got no experience of how these Michelin tyres work when they drop off quite dramatically. I mean,
but he said yesterday,
he looked like a pure rookie out there.
If I can stay clear of the gravel, I reckon I could have a good day.
Well, yeah, he didn't want an off-track excursion. He's got an excursion to Parc Ferme in the top step. He can't believe it.